He stood trembling, a legend mourning another legend. When Bill Cosby stepped up to the microphone at Malcolm-Jamal Warner's funeral, the room fell silent. Tears streamed down his face as he revealed a truth the world had never heard before. In that moment, even the cameras couldn't capture the full weight of his words. The bond between Cosby and Malcolm wasn't just for the cameras. From the moment they met on The Cosby Show, Malcolm wasn't just a co-star. He became like a son. And when news broke that he had suddenly passed, the world gasped. But no one was more devastated than Bill Cosby. At the private funeral, Cosby didn't just grieve. He spoke from a place of raw pain, exposing regrets, hidden memories, and the darker side of fame. His tribute wasn't scripted. It was real, and it revealed the closeness of their bond and the challenges they had faced behind the scenes. Those inside the funeral witnessed a scene none would forget. Cosby, frail and trembling, spoke about the young man he had mentored, someone he had called his boy long before the world recognized him. Malcolm had grown up in front of the cameras but remained grounded, disciplined, and respectful. Cosby spent hours with him, teaching him about life, the industry, and how to navigate the world as a young black man. Even as controversies surrounded Cosby in later years, Malcolm stayed loyal, maintaining a clean and respected reputation in Hollywood. Their emotional connection never faded. When Malcolm tragically passed away at 54, reportedly in a drowning incident, Cosby reportedly whispered, "Not my Theo, not my Theo," collapsing under grief. The funeral was packed with Hollywood elites, former co-stars, friends, and fans. Cosby approached the pulpit, supported by aides, and looked over the mourners with tear-filled eyes. Despite the trials, convictions, and controversies that had surrounded him, Cosby had returned to speak only of Malcolm. His voice cracked as he recounted Malcolm's life, from the early days on set to their personal bond. He shared the private moments, the mentorship, and the laughter that had defined their years together. "I knew this young man before he had his first beard. Before the world called him a star, I called him my boy," Cosby said. Gasps rippled through the room. Cosby's words revealed the depth of his affection. He spoke of Malcolm's discipline, quiet resilience, and loyalty. He reminded everyone that this was a young man who had stood by him despite the world turning against Cosby. But his speech soon took a darker turn. He revealed the pressures Malcolm had faced and the people who failed to protect him. The room fell silent as he implied that Malcolm's death may not have been entirely accidental. "Theo, wherever you are now, forgive us. We couldn't save you," Cosby concluded. Tears flowed freely. Suspicion lingered. Something about Malcolm's death didn't sit right, and Cosby's words opened a lid no one was ready for. Days later, Felicia Rashad, who played Malcolm's mother on The Cosby Show, shared private details about his final days. A week before his death, Malcolm had spoken to her late at night, sounding tired, distant, yet desperate. He hinted that he was under pressure from certain executives and old associates, trying to pull him back into situations he had left behind. "They want me to stay silent, but I can't do that anymore," he said. Rashad revealed that Malcolm was preparing to expose something but had been too cautious to share specifics. His fear wasn't about career setbacks, it was about his life. The public narrative labeled his death an accidental drowning at a lakeside cabin near Vancouver. Surveillance footage showed him arriving Thursday afternoon, going about his routine, and by Saturday morning, he was found face down in the water. Official reports cited accidental drowning. But inconsistencies emerged. His phone records showed calls to 3 contacts late Friday night, none mentioned in the police report. The cameras at the dock supposedly failed. The cabin door was locked from the inside, yet he ended up outside. An anonymous source reported someone had come to the cabin that night in a black hoodie, unaccounted for. Speculation grew. Was Malcolm's death really an accident? Was he silenced because of what he knew? Cosby's eulogy hinted at protective failures, while Rashad's revelations suggested fear and possible threats. Malcolm had prepared to expose truths but never got the chance. Whispers spread through Hollywood and social media, and fans began piecing together the fragments of his final days. During the memorial, Cosby's grief was visible and raw. He spoke of Malcolm not just as Theo, a character, but as a son. "I didn't just watch Malcolm grow up on television. I watched him grow into a man, into an artist, into a soul that lit up every room. He was more than Theo. He was my son," he said. The audience was struck by the vulnerability and honesty of his words. Every laugh, every gesture, and every line Malcolm delivered on screen was tied to a real human life shaped by love, mentorship, and guidance. Karen Molina White, Malcolm's longtime ex-girlfriend, approached the casket as the memorial wound down. She placed her hand on the polished wood and whispered, "You were the one. You've always been the one. I'm sorry we didn't make it work. I thought we had more time." Her words, recorded by someone nearby, went viral. Later, Karen posted on Instagram, reflecting her grief and love for Malcolm, amassing millions of likes in hours. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death left a void felt by those closest to him and by fans worldwide. Beyond the screen, he was a son, a brother, a lover, and a friend. Cosby's eulogy and Rashad's revelations revealed the hidden layers of his life, his fears, his pressures, and the bonds that truly mattered. His legacy was more than a character on television. It was the lives he touched, the love he inspired, and the mentorship he received and gave in return. The inconsistencies surrounding his death, missing footage, locked doors, unrecorded calls, added suspicion. Yet, what remained undeniable was the emotional truth: Malcolm was deeply loved, and his loss was profoundly felt. Cosby's public breakdown, Rashad's confession, and Karen's heartfelt words brought attention to the humanity behind the legend. Malcolm's life, mentorship, and untimely death reminded the world of the fragility of life, the weight of fame, and the bonds that endure beyond the screen. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, 1970 to 2025, left an imprint that would never fade. He wasn't just Theo, he was a son, a mentor, a lover, and a friend. Cosby's grief, the revelations of those close to him, and the unanswered questions surrounding his death painted a complex portrait of a man whose brilliance touched millions but whose final days were marked by tension, fear, and tragedy. His story, though ended prematurely, continues to inspire, warn, and move those who loved him and those who knew him only through his work.